Welcome to Spain. Buenos dias, Tanya. Bueno verano. Can we say that too?
I think you can say whatever you want. Buenos. Buenos,
I mean, it's our
buenos.
show. I can do whatever I want.
You can do whatever you want. Absolutely.
I make up 50% of the rules for this organization.
Yeah, it might even be more on a good day.
Depending on our day, depending on our energy level. No, you can handle it today. Whatever
I
you
don't want to
want.
deal with anything. You are 100% of the rules, man, today. That's it. Just tell me where to go and what to do.
Exactly. Sure, we can use that font. I love that font. Whatever font you want. All the fonts are good.
Actually, probably the other way around because you're probably the hot one right now, and I'm in England and I'm a little bit cooler. So you're probably like, I'm not dealing with anything. Go
Oh
for
no,
it.
no, we're cool. We got the air conditioning
Oh,
on.
you
We've
got the
got
air
it.
conditioning going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got
Okay.
it set at like 24 to 25, most of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
we are good. We are good this summer.
That's a good temperature. I was going to ask you where you put we do it around 27, and then if I'm leaving just the dog at home, I do it at like 29, 30, where it's like I think that's fine.
Oh my
But
God, that seems so hot. I mean, that seems like the temperature's outside 30 degrees. No, I mean,
no, because it's again, it's so this is I'm just going to dip my toe in this and dip my toe out of this again, which is we've been dehumidifying a little bit and that has helped with the heat. And if I do that, then I don't worry about the temperature as much and I can bring the temperature down with the air conditioner. And the two things together seem to be like the sweet spot for us because our upstairs we don't use as much during the day. And I don't want to air
hmm
condition the whole thing. So if I dehumidify that, it just kind of keeps things a little less bananas up there. Because otherwise,
hmm
you walk upstairs and hit like a wall of heat, right?
right.
And it's like insane. It's like you getting out of your car when you're like you've air conditioned the car and you get
Yeah.
out in the
And your
middle of the
glasses fog
desert.
up and everything. Yeah.
Oh my, yeah, right? And then sometimes I have to do like video calls and things, and my glasses are all fine. I'm like, okay, we just have to manage this. It doesn't have to be totally livable, but yeah, this is the fun and the games of being in Valencia in the summer.
Right, right. Well, I keep
We used
mine
to
at like
argue. We used to argue because you'd be like, it's so humid when we were up on the hill, and I'd be like, it's not. Remember?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
If you go
remember you
back, if
you
anyone
told
goes
me I had
back,
no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, you're like, you've never lived in XYZ. I'm like, I've lived in all the places. I know humidity.
and it's more, and it is more. And I will say, we went down to Cabinel, and it was so humid down there.
So
Like,
bad,
and
yeah.
that's got to be more humid than where you are. It has to
Oh, it
be.
is. It is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then you have the hot water, so it's not refreshing at all. Like the beach is not refreshing here
No,
at all.
not at this point. No,
No.
the refreshing is
You
it's
have to
over at
walk
this
three
point.
miles out into the ocean.
To find a cool spot.
Yeah, yeah, and you have to avoid all the jellyfish along the way to find the cool spot. And then by the time you walk back to the shore, you've already boiled the skin off of your bones again, wading through that hot
Yeah.
water.
So the best thing you can do is take ice water to the beach and pour it all over yourself.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the best way.
And our beaches are wide, so then you're like to walk to the bus. Like it's
That's
just a whole hot
that's true.
excursion. And then
Did
this
you
is
ever make it to the beach by yourself?
no, I did not. No, we talked about that. Yeah, I
Oh,
know that still hasn't
yeah.
happened. And
Okay,
now
I'm
it's
sure it
too
will.
hot. Yeah, it may. I mean, I think maybe in the fall when the kids go back to school, maybe I'll
Yeah.
feel in
I think beginning of
the
September maybe it'll be nice again.
and
Yeah.
I will have to say the end of the school year is a lot of activity for all of us because it's the end of the
Mhm.
school year, so it's exams. I'm stressing about that. I'm also stressing about things we're going to talk about, like what we did this summer and what we are doing this summer.
Right.
So it's all the planning of that stuff as well. So I think
Mhm.
once they go back to school, I'll be like, oh wait, actually, there isn't a lot to do. We've gotten all the prep, and maybe I'll have a moment to myself. You know.
Yeah. I'm sure you will. I'm sure it'll happen. I have great confidence in you.
Thank you. You bored me. So, and we've gone this long, but do you have an Spain? Usually we start the
Oh.
episode with an Spain.
I do have an Spain. My husband would be proud. I'm gonna do the Spain about the World Cup football.
Okay.
But I am not a football watcher. Like really. I will like it's like watching the Olympics for me. I'll watch these like big things, but I don't watch football. I mean, unless
Right.
like, unless somebody has it on and I happen to be there. And of course, there is a lot of football watching in Spain, so that does happen. That you
Right.
end up in a bar with the football going on and everyone's really watching it. But generally, I'm not. But the World Cup, we got really lucky. Like Morocco was there really long, Spain, England were like made it like really far. So I was actually really like getting into
Invested.
it.
Yeah, you were
Yeah, I
invested.
was. And I was hoping for an England Spain finale, but that didn't happen. But that's okay. That is how it is. But what I did do, which was really fun because Spain got so far, and I think it was the semifinals. For the semifinals and the finals in our town, they put it up on a big screen in the town square, and I thought this was really cool. They have this truck that has a giant TV screen on it, and they just roll that wherever they want, which I think is awesome. So they just pull that in, and everyone just brings their little beach chairs. And some people, like you've been to the beach in Spain, there's people that come with their whole house, right? They come with
Right.
the tables and the chairs and the
Right.
tent and the whole thing. People did that, not the tent, but they came with the
Right.
full tables and chairs. And other people were just, everyone else was just rolling up with the odd beach chair that they had, right, for their
Right.
family. And we then, so we had a few beach chairs, and it was just really, really the environment. It was, it was on at like 9 o'clock at night, right? So in a lot of other countries, I think that late at night would not be a family affair. And it really was. Like everyone was there. The kids were running around. There was a whole bunch of kids sitting in the front, like separately from everybody. And when a goal happened, everybody like jumped up, but they all jumped right back down again so that everybody could watch the replay. So it was also like, as well as it being this really nice, like family friendly environment, everyone was super respectful of the fact that everyone needed to be able to see the screen. And then, so that was like super fun and I loved it. And then when we actually happened to then fly like the next day, and we got to watch the England's last game, unfortunately, in England. So we got to see the Spanish in Spain and then the England in England. And I said to Zia, I'm like, I'm not going to a pub. I'm not watching a football game in England in public. Like,
Right.
this is so not. And I'm sure things have changed, and I'm sure there are places we could have done it. It doesn't feel like something I want to do in England. I don't want to watch a
Right.
football game in England with a bunch of drunk people at a pub. Like,
Right.
just don't.
Right. And
So just to me, that was in
England
our Spain
they
because
have
it
a
was,
different
yeah.
passion for the sport, and also they lost. So it's a good thing you did it because you don't know what you could have stepped into, right? Because
Oh God, right? Yeah,
yeah.
totally. Yeah.
So you
And
don't
it's going to
want
be late. It's going to be late, and we don't have such a late culture with kids out. So you don't get these such big family friendly events late at night. So for
Right.
me, it was
People
just
are
like, it
expecting
wasn't,
kids not to be there, right?
yeah.
They're expecting to act like how they want to because they don't have to behave themselves in front of a youth.
And
Like
and
the
England
Spaniards
and
do.
the English have a bit of a reputation for not behaving particularly well at football and sports
Right.
games, much like
Right. I've
Americans.
heard that.
And
I don't want to. I hate to
yeah,
generalize, but I've read that somewhere.
yeah, exactly. So that was my art Spain because I just thought it was so wonderful how the watching of this football, and I think no matter how it would have gone, it would have still been a family situation and a respectful way to watch it. And it was really fun to watch it with a bunch of people that were excited about it. And I just thought that was a really nice art Spain because that is unique. Maybe not unique to Spain, but unique to the places that I've lived. I wouldn't have found that, I don't think, in England or in America. So to Spain, that was unique to me. And I thought it was just really, really fun. And you saw the final, right?
Yeah, so like you, I'm not a football fan, and
Football.
but now I would say we'll get into this, but we took a cruise to Norway this summer. That was our big vacation, and well, it was a Cunard cruise, so thus being an English line, and the World Cup was going on, so every night in the big pool dome indoor
Mm.
pool they had a screen, and that's where they were showing World Cup games every night. So
And nobody got thrown off the side of the boat or
no one got
anything?
thrown off side of the boat. No, it was pretty good. But so
Or the
we were
ship, I guess. I don't know.
ship. You
Whatever.
don't call it a boat. It was a ship, and so that was exciting. But we weren't really paying attention because we weren't really invested. But we're like, oh, this is one. Where are we at, right? And then we
Right.
ended up in England for a couple days, and that's when we saw, unfortunately, England lose to Argentina. However, I have to say, I'm sorry to say this out loud. I'm glad England won. I mean, England lost because it saved a lot of friendships. Because if it would have been England versus Spain, I
It
have
would have
too many
been
friends in
hard.
England, and it could have been ugly. It could have been some ugly
That is
ending of
not a good
friendship.
reason for them to lose. I'm sorry. Take it back. Not a good reason for them to lose. It would have been, I think it would have been a more friendly, it would have been more friendly to the point that I think people could have handled it. I think it would have been okay. I think you would
But
have
it
been all
was
right.
nice though when the rest of the world became fans of Spain and
Spain.
not
That's
Argentina.
true. Yeah,
And
that's
I
true.
didn't really quite understand that. And then so anyway, we were kind of excited, and then now we knew Spain. We watched Spain win the semifinals in England, so we were like pumped up to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you telling us about the town square thing happening. So we started doing our research, like, were they going to show it in public in
Yeah.
Valencia? And I would say this was an Valencia moment because they had kind of a fail, and so we were told, I had read, and this could be lies through AI, but I saw it on different websites as well, that they were going to
Mm-hmm.
show it in three different screens: in the Torria by the Palace of Music, on the beach in
Okay.
Cabagnol, and in the town square.
Okay.
And like the night before, everything changed, and they were only showing it in the town square. And I was like, well,
Okay.
that's like
Well,
a
that's very Spain.
very sweet, but also it's
So,
like this is the World Cup huge. You're going to get a lot of people out, and now you're going to corral them all into one small area versus having it kind of spread out in the city.
yeah, because that's not, I mean, look, the town square is big, but it's not going to hold the whole of Valencia to watch a football game, and
Right.
everybody is going to want to watch. So it would have
And
been a much better idea to split that out. Yeah.
so the girls and I, and Paloma is much more in. She's not into sports, but she is. So like she was psyched,
Okay.
like she's not watching sports, but it was on. She gets invested. She's picked her team at the beginning of the match, and she's rooting. And like when we went to the Olympics 2 years ago, she was very angry. It's a team a country she'd never heard of losing because that's who she was rooting for. Kind
You
of
should
thing.
you should drop her off at our house to watch with Jawad because he's not interested really in watching with us. Although he has managed to like corral Xena into really getting into it, but
Hmm.
it's taken many years and
Taking many
many
years.
t-shirts.
Well, I mean I'm into it. I mean I see the one thing I like about football, soccer is why I like hockey. I love a low scoring game. Basketball bores me to tears. Baseball bores me. If you got a score of 73-52, I'm like, where's the game? Where's the activity?
And
What
I love seeing that number go up, which is I think basketball and tennis. Like I love that that someone's always getting a point, and then the other person has to, or the other team has to do something. So I'm like the total opposite.
So we are yin and yang here. That's
We
that's
really
our show,
are.
isn't it? The yin and yang of us. So anyway, we were like, well, we'll go watch it. Fine, it's gonna be downtown. So we get downtown. I say downtown, 6 blocks from our house. We go
I
into
was going to say it's not like you had to go far.
so we're like, let's go. Now, mind you, it is hot, and I bought the hat. I posted it on our Spain
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, the hat that I
Yep.
bought to show the pride and all of that. So we go downtown, and it was so hot and so muggy and so humid. But this was a fail on Valencia's part because the way the Plaza Monumento is, right in front of the town hall is there's like that ring of like semicircle of flower shops, like the little flower
Right.
kiosks. And
Yeah.
so they were showing it in the area where they do the mascleta, and that's the way they had the screen facing. And that's also surrounded by trees. So if you weren't inside that semicircle, you couldn't see the screen. So very few
There
people.
are a lot of trees in the town square. That does, yeah.
And
Yeah.
if they would have had two screens like back to back, so one facing one side of the
Oh,
square and one
yeah.
facing that side, they could have really appeased a lot of people. So we got there and we were like, well, now we were just mad because we couldn't see anything, but we wanted to be amongst the energy. But because there's so many
Right.
people, we couldn't even see the game on our phone because of the cell phone, like,
Was
log
it one
jam.
of those things where you really had to get there early to get a good seat and everyone else is did people leave because there's no point,
I think
do you
people,
think?
like, yes, but I think a lot of people just wanted to be a part of it, and they were like, "Oh, well, I'll just know if there was a
Yeah.
cheer or something." And then we tried to find a restaurant nearby, and then we found one, and we're like, "No." And the girls were like, "Let me just go back home," because we were all like drenched. We were like, just
Yeah.
soaked
Were
through our
they
clothes.
standing up or did everyone bring a chair?
No, they were all standing up, and that's the thing is, if you
See,
would have
that's the
got,
problem, right? Because with ours, everybody bought chairs. So everybody was sitting.
yeah, there's
So
no way
that
you could
meant
have
you could
brought
have,
chairs into that, and
yeah,
I
you
don't
could
think.
have loads and loads of people watching because everyone was sitting, right?
Well,
And
here
if
you
you're
couldn't have
standing,
loads of people
you're done.
watching because there would be no room if you brought the chairs in,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure security wouldn't allow chairs because that lens, if they would have lost, that could have been it could have been a riot situation. Do you know what I mean? One person gets angry
Yeah.
with one chair, then and everyone's been drinking. You never know how it could throw down. You know what I mean? It's not like a
Yeah.
cute little town. We are in the city with like lots of shirtless
And there may
men
have been
happy. Yeah,
some
for the game.
Argentinian people watching and a
Right.
different variety of people there. Whereas our town was probably mostly Spanish people supporting Spain, which is, that helps.
Well, we did walk when we were walking back home. We saw like down one street there was a bunch of Argentinians watching it from like it must have been an Argentinian owned restaurant because it was like this little
Mm.
that was the only place we saw Argentinian jerseys and flags. And so anyway, we decided to walk back home because there was no way to see it and we couldn't watch it on our phone. And we're like, well, we'll just go home. Like we got at least we were part of the energy. It was exciting. So then we get home
That's
and
good.
then we were very passionate about the game, and then they scored the point, and as you know, and then there was like 4 minutes left, and the bar downstairs was showing us like, let's hurry up and go down, and we can
And
watch
you
at
can
least the
hear it,
bar.
right? But you can
Yeah,
hear everybody cheering when they get the goal. Like it's
yeah,
really fun. Yeah.
exactly. And so then we ran downstairs to watch the people in the bar get excited, and then we ran downtown. We ran back to the Plaza to be a part of the
Oh,
energy.
good.
So we did
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and that was amazing. I mean, it was really amazing because everyone was just so happy and excited, and the horns honking, and just everyone drunkenly happy, and no one being stupid in any way. You know what I mean? Like everyone was
Right?
just, and it was just fun. And I mean, there was people doing things that weren't safe, like climbing trees and climbing on top of things that didn't look very safe. But
Yeah, but that would be like their own problem if they got hurt.
yeah,
Nobody was
exactly.
getting into fights or doing anything. It was, I think, and that I think that is kind of what I was getting at is just this like there's a mentality that's just more we're here for the game. We're
We're
here
here for the game and
and
for our
it's we're here
country
for the game.
pride. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then of course, the lights went off and they did fireworks because, they have them on the
of course.
ready. you know?
Always fireworks, people. Don't ever
Always
imagine that
fireworks.
they won't celebrate properly.
Yeah, we came home and it was a win-win for the family. So we are excited, and now Paloma has said that I have to start buying tickets to Valencia and Levante games in
Hmm.
in this next year. So she wants, and I'm like, I'm on it. I'll do that. I'm fine. I can be dragged to that without issue.
Yeah, we've been to speak. So we've been to the women's football. I think I mentioned this on here before. There's a women's team in Valencia, and there's so we went and saw that one time. And I just want to point out, in case anybody doesn't know, this is the only time that one country has had both the women's and the men's
World
that
Cups,
they
yes.
won. Yeah. So Spain is ruling football.
Yeah.
So it definitely go out and see the women's too, because the women's is really fun and they have a good team, and they're right there as well.
Okay. Well,
So
you know what? I'm gonna have to look into that too, because got to give
hmm
my daughter some woman pride, woman
yep,
power
that's what we
as
did.
well.
And then and I don't remember her name, and I feel really bad because she was really lovely. We there's a woman on the women's team that who has an English mom and a Moroccan dad.
Okay.
And so we went, and then Zena got to meet her and get her thing signed and all this
Oh,
stuff,
cool.
and yeah, so it was like really fun. So Jawad's doing everything he possibly can to get Zena to get into football, and then of course being in Spain, you're like you have no choice anyway, so you just go with it.
Right, right.
Um, so before we get into our summer stuff, I just want to do one other thing, which is like an event that's coming up, which is we're getting the full eclipse of the sun in
You are
August.
correct in that. Yes, you are
And
correct.
yeah, and I am beyond excited about this. I know it's like 1 minute of fun, but I'm like really excited. And back in April, in the end of April, the sun was going to be in exactly the same position. So I tested like that we could sit out on our terrace and we could see this. We will be able to see the eclipse
Oh, so
from
you're like an
then.
eclipse nerd. Like, let's just be honest here. If you've been doing
I've only
this
ever
since
seen
April,
one. Yeah, I mean,
really, you've only
I
seen
love
one?
well a full eclipse. I've
Yeah,
seen partials. I
you've only
think
seen
in
one.
many.
Oh, wow, I've seen a couple.
I don't remember. I think maybe one or two. But I mean, it doesn't happen that often, and you're not always in the right spot. So I love anything to do with the stars and the planets and Earth and nature like this. I just think it's really, really fun. So
Right.
so just in case anybody wants to, do it, it is on Wednesday, August 12th, and it will be around 8:30 p.m. And we are very unique because it is in this part of Spain, like, and the northern part of Spain, and it goes up through
It's a
Valencia,
straight
the kind of
line through Spain.
Bilbao,
Yeah, yeah.
not to sort of up towards the north, because then you're getting into like it goes into like Iceland and areas up there. So
Right.
yeah. So we have a
It
little stripe, and we are right in the middle of it, and I
we
love
are
it.
in the middle of it. We have been invited to a party on a roof on that faces of the western horizon. Not that you really have a horizon line here since we have mountains to the west of
Yeah,
us.
so long
But
as you can see the sun at that hour, and the
right,
sun doesn't go down until like 10 o'clock or something at that point, and then
right.
you can get glasses, which you will need. Obviously, you can get those at the pharmacies. So go out and get your. Don't wait till the last minute for that, because then you'll be, banging on your neighbors' doors trying to
Right.
find glasses.
Or you'll do the shoe box with the pinhole and looking through it
Oh my
that way.
gosh,
Yeah.
yes,
Or
there are
the two
ways.
pieces of paper, the pinhole and the other piece of paper, which
Yeah.
actually my last eclipse that I saw witness was just a few years ago in Los Angeles. I remember we were all at work and we all took our pieces of paper out and that's how we did it.
We did that because I remember there was one before we left the States at some point, but I don't know if it was full or partial. And I do remember, like, looking at it on the ground, basically, like
Mhm.
doing that whole thing. And, it's fun.
It's fun.
One of those
It's a
silly
good
things.
time. I
Yeah.
mean, we're gonna
It's a
do
good
it.
time.
We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see it as well. I think it's funny though that you're in London now. I mean, you're often in London because of your family, but it's like I was just in London. So, are you doing anything exciting this London? Like, what did you? I can tell you about what I did in London. And are you experienced London in a different way with your
Yeah.
daughter?
We are, so we have, we're here for like a few weeks, and we're not in, like, we're outside of London, but we went in because I had a friend of mine from LA who came over. She was with her daughter doing a tour, and she's like, "Are you going to be in London on these dates?" I'm like, "I can be," because we're actually in England. So we went and met
Mm-hmm.
her, and we were just like, I've never done these touristy things. So we
Like, what
did
did you
the
do?
London Eye. Yeah, we
Oh
did the
God.
London Eye, which was so fun.
Oh my, you're more brave than I.
And
I will
then,
not do that. You couldn't pay me $1 million to get in that death
really,
chamber. Nope, nope, not gonna
it,
happen.
it it goes so slowly, you don't feel weird.
No,
Like,
that's the part. That's the death chamber. It's I have a fear of being trapped in high places. So for me, if it went like 30 miles an hour, you'd probably get me on. The fact that it goes
oh,
so
I see.
slow, my mind would be racing. It's gonna stop at any time, and I'm gonna get baked by the sun and die up here.
But it's also much bigger than I thought, the
The cat.
capsule that you're in. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like 15 people or something inside each one. So it's large. I mean, so you don't feel like it's not like a little bubble, like one
Right.
of these little things. So I don't know, you might, one time when you're in London, you might just want to go down there and take a look. It's not so bad. And then what they do, we were next to, like, they have all, I don't know how many bubbles they have, but one of them is always out, because what they do is they just take one out at a time and service it and put it back. So if
Okay.
you look at the London Eye, there's always one that's not there, and that's why.
Oh.
But the
Okay.
views from up there are like, they really are stunning. And then because it was a coincidence, but then we also did the river, the Thames boat tour as well.
Okay.
And then so then we got to see all these other things, and that one came with like a proper person, like, giving you all these gory details and things about the Tower of London and all this kind of stuff. So I also, like,
Mm-hmm.
highly recommend that, because that was a completely different experience, seeing all these things and getting all these good stories, like, while you're on a riverboat. So both of those, I've never done either of those things, so we were just full on tourist
I
mode.
guess so,
Yep.
yeah. This was
Yeah.
this trip we were not that big of tourists. This has been our third trip to London in 3 years, and I have to say now it's starting to feel like a home-based city to us because
Mm-hmm.
we
Like,
now
you'll know it well.
we know it well. We know the underground. We know how to get around the underground. We don't have to ask friends how to get from point A to point B. We're
That's a
not worried
bonus.
about getting in the right line. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're now part of it. We know how to walk places now. I can visualize on a map if someone says meet me here. I can picture it in my mind where I'm headed to. You know what I mean? So
Isn't
I'm
that
feeling
nice?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did do our Sunday roast, which is something that we have to do. Like we did our English things. We got a show in. We went to go see Jinx Monsoon do a one woman
Oh, cool.
show, which was
Oh, fun.
very exciting for the girls and I because I've been forcing them to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, since they were babies. So they've actually seen Jinx Monsoon's career go from like never
Oh my
heard of to
gosh.
this big West End London
Right?
star now. So, so that was
And there is
exciting.
nothing more fun than watching shows in London. There's just
Yeah.
something very special about it, right? And New York. I mean, the
In New York,
two,
yeah, yeah. The
I've
theater
been to
was
plays in
amazing.
LA. Yeah, I've been to plays in LA and other cities and stuff, and it just doesn't yeah, it's nice. The plays are
Yeah.
good. Nothing wrong with it. But it's like there's something about doing it in New York and London that's like somehow extra right, you know?
Well, in London, I mean, LA, we do have a beautiful theater. Like we have the Pantages, which is amazing. But when you let out, you're in Hollywood. There is something
Yeah.
about getting let out in the theater, and all the other theaters are letting out, right? There is just
Mm-hmm.
this that kind of fun
Right.
of the crowd, and everyone's seeing
Right.
something. There's just, I don't, yeah, I agree. There is an energy to it that it's hard to
For
replace
sure.
elsewhere, unless there's
Yeah.
a lot of theaters coming out, right? So,
Yeah, and speaking of that, I took my friend on the underground because that was one thing she wanted to do that they weren't going to be doing with their group. And I was like, well, that's easy. And so we did the underground and went. And I will say to anybody that is traveling, in my experience, don't be scared of the underground. They all work in the same way, which is
mhm,
the line has a place that's the last stop of the line is the direction that the train is going. And as long as you look at the map and you know which way you want to go, you can get on the right train. And that
right,
works in DC and New York and London. They all basically work the same way. So
right,
it's not as intimidating as it might seem. It's
right.
very doable.
Now, I will say we did ride the underground a lot, but we avoided it as much as we could because it was the heat wave while we were there, and the underground stations and trains were 50 degrees Celsius warmer than the street level was. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I
no,
would,
it's a miserable place. Yeah, no, it's miserable. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do. There was
and then
no air conditioning down there, people. And
yeah,
then they open a window, and then you've just got hot, sweaty air
hot,
blowing in your
sweaty,
face. I mean, it's
dirty
just
smelling air coming at you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go at a busy time, you've also have your face in someone's armpit. I mean, the whole
Oh,
thing
all
is
the
just like
smells. It's a
yeah, all
multicultural.
the
You're smelling
smells.
all the smells. And
Yep.
I remember when we left Jinx Monsoon, we were going back to my friends who live in like West Hempstead, and the friend we were with was like, "Oh, just take this train, and you'll have to change, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yes, but there's a bus that just goes." He's like, "Yeah, but you're on the
Right.
bus." I was like, "Yes, but Google Maps says it's going to take the same amount of time." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I do not want to be in the train hot at this hour waiting for trains." And then we took the bus, and surprisingly, it was a unicorn bus that had air conditioning. So we were air
Mm.
conditioned the whole way back to our friend's home. So it was like a 35-minute bus ride, but we also were more
Yeah.
door to door. If we would have taken the train would have taken us 15 minutes, but we
Yeah.
would have had to have walked 30 minutes, 15 here and
The
15
buses
there.
are more the buses are more complicated, obviously,
Hmm.
to make sure you get on the right one. But it is a much nicer experience because not only are the trains hot, they're old. Like a lot of them, they're
Yeah.
not that nice,
And you're
right?
not
So
seeing
you got an
anything.
old train. Yeah, you're not seeing anything. So we were on Oxford Street and we wanted to get from one end to the other, and we just didn't have a lot of time. So it had been a while since Zena had been on the top of a double decker bus. I'm like, let's just take the bus down because now Oxford Street is only, I mean, for many years, only buses and taxis. So I was like, we can, the bus will just take us down. And it was early in the morning, so we didn't. There was no one on the buses, so we got the front seat at the top of the double decker, and I was like, this is like great,
That's happened,
this is
yeah.
so much nicer.
Yeah,
Highly
when
recommend the
we came
buses.
home from the theater district, it was at night in the theater district, and then driving through
Mm-hmm.
Oxford Street, all that, and just seeing everything all lit up. So it was my kids were
Yeah.
exhausted, but they were like, "Oh, this is so amazing!"
Oh.
Like their eyes were falling asleep on the window, but looking at the lights, and it was
Yeah,
fairy tale, right? So I love
I
London.
love it.
My
Yeah.
youngest Paloma wants to move there yesterday, and I'm like, I
So
love
does
London,
Xena. Yeah.
but you couldn't pay me to live there, so that's not gonna happen for me. I
Well,
love
I
it.
just said to her, you better study because it's going to cost you a lot of money to live here
Right.
in the part of London that you want to live in. This
Right.
is the problem. Like, yeah,
Right.
London is amazing, but if you can afford to live in Chelsea and these lovely, pretty places, then it's fantastic.
And you don't
Yeah.
mind rain and no light in the winter. That's why I couldn't do it. That would be I mean, the cost too, but I get really bad seasonal affected disorder stuff. So for me to live in
Yeah.
London, it would make me. I physically
She
wouldn't be
might
able to do
not.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think a year in London will decide that,
decide that.
right?
Yeah. Well,
Because that's all you
I
have to do.
lived 10 years in New York, and every year at winter for like 4 months, I was like, this is miserable.
Yeah, I think Xena would absolutely live in London, but I don't like you. I don't know if after a year she'd be like, yeah, this is rough in the winter, right? I
Right.
mean, you don't know until you try it. I mean,
Right.
I grew up in England and I didn't really understand that it could not be that way. So I had to leave to realize that 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 was a thing to not
Right.
want.
Right, right.
Speaking of really northern places that are probably pretty miserable in the
Mhm.
winter, you did a tour of Norway, right? I mean, a
We
cruise of
did.
Norway, and a
We
tour.
did do the cruise, as I mentioned before. And, it's been a bucket list item for me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was an amazing experience. We had a little seasickness the first day, and it was really not that bad. I will say my friend and I did get the spa package, like where you could go and use the spa every day. We didn't get massages every day, but you could use the whirlpools and the steam rooms and
Was
all
that
that stuff.
nice?
Oh yeah, it was very nice because it was a way I could escape my kids, yeah, too, and I mean
And
that
did
with
they have
love.
was it like on the side of the boat so you could like you had views out into sea, or you was it
In
like inside kind of?
It was inside where the pools and stuff were. There were relaxation rooms that had windows out, like you could go read a
Okay.
book or something and have cucumber water.
Mm.
But where like the big spa thing was in the middle, but it's in the front of the boat. And that first day at sea was the day that we had the rough waters, and we were cracking up because the pool, it was rather large. I mean, I would say it was a good 20 feet in diameter, maybe bigger.
Okay.
No, at least 20 feet, and then they had like this big shower thing in the middle. But anyway, we're sitting on the edge, and the way the boat was, the water was, it would go down to like below our waist, and then we were drowning, and then it would go down below our
Oh my
waist, and
god,
then we
that
were
sounds really
drowning.
relaxing.
That day was it? We're like, this is hysterical.
Is that how you got seasick?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the whole day of that, and
Okay.
it wasn't like major, and it was one of those things. I think if the boat was actually swaying more, it might have been less seasicky, because it was one of those, you're like, I think I'm
Mm.
stepping wrong. Like you're kind of
Oh,
stepping
right,
wrong.
right,
We
right.
weren't leaning to our sides, but you'd get this kind of motion, like you get that motion sickness feeling of like, oh, that's that kind of in my throat feeling, while
Right.
you're walking. But other than that, I mean, I have to say it. I want to go back to Norway. I will say, if these fjord cruises, they promised more than they deliver, which was, I was hoping we'd have more days of going in and out of fjords and just sitting on our balcony and watching mountains and
Yeah,
waterfalls.
that
And there,
wasn't happening.
no, there was only one day of that, and the other was going up the coast and stopping in different towns. And I think you could pay for excursions, but I also don't
Oh,
want to
I
go on
see.
more excursions. I just want to walk around the town and get on the boat. Like I
Well,
wanted it to be
you, because this
relaxing.
is what I want. This is what I would want to do. Are you able to like go out and like kayak up the fjord or something?
You can buy those excursions and stuff. Yes, you can
Okay.
do that.
Yeah.
But these boats are so big, so they just physically can't go into these fjords, right?
Right.
So
Of course, you don't want them. So you have to go into town or whatever and get a tour from that town up the fjord or whatever, and then come
right,
back to the boat later. Yeah.
right, and then worry about
So
getting
you
a
didn't
time
see as much fjord as you wanted.
as I wanted to. But the one we did, we got, it was an amazing view. I woke up early, and my girls were like, they wouldn't wake up, and I was like, fine, I'm just gonna have my coffee on the deck and watch it all
Right.
go by, and that was amazing.
Not
But
having not having ever done a cruise, do you feel like there's just people like you're packed with people around you at all times? Like if you go up to have a coffee, like is there just people standing around looking at the fjord so you can't actually really enjoy like the view, or is it there's so much deck space that everyone can kind of do that when and kind of have a space?
I think, to be honest, it depends on the cruise line and the clientele you're with as well, right? So
Mhm.
this boat had like 3,000 passengers, but Cunard boats aren't set up like a Royal Caribbean, or a Norwegian cruise line, where there's bumper cars and rock climbing walls and water slides. And, it's not a resort at sea. This is like a fine hotel at sea. So everyone's got a balcony. It's a much quieter ship. Even in the bulk of night and things are going on, it's never feels crowded. It's not set up to feel
Mm.
crowded and feel like a party boat. Do you know what I mean? It's
So
supposed to
that's
feel
good advice. Is like pay attention to the type of boat, the type of company that you're paying for because
yeah.
it does make a difference.
It does
That's
make
good
a
advice.
difference.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of deck space upstairs that you could do. Like, as I stayed in the room, and this boat had this huge lounge on the top and the front. And so we met there every night for drinks and got to watch all the scenery pass by there before we went out
Oh,
before we
that's
went down
lovely.
to dinner. And so that was, and we were lucky that the maitre d sat us every night at the table near a window, so as we were having dinner we could see the sea and the horizon and all of that. So we lucked out that
Mm-hmm.
way for sure. And we did do one excursion. We did go up to a glacier. I have this thing of trying to have my daughters see things before they no longer exist anymore. So I was like, we're gonna go see a glacier because you may never get to see one again. So we
Did you? Was there an iceberg that floated by you that
no,
had
no, I think all the
disconnected
icebergs are
from?
gone. Yeah, I think they're
Oh,
you have to go. We weren't that far north to see an iceberg, but we did climb a
oh, I
mountain to
see.
see the glacier and
Oh, that's
feel the
amazing.
ice cold water. Like you put your hand in that water in the waterfall and like it was getting numb. Like
Yeah.
it was cold water and
Well, I remember like, and I don't know what the latitude is relative, but I remember going to Maine and going kayaking there, and the water, I was shocked at how cold that water was,
mhm,
middle of summer. And I was like, if I fell in here, yeah, I wouldn't last long for
right.
sure. And it's beautiful and hot and humid up there in the summer. Like you're
Right.
so hot you want to go jump in the water, but the water's so cold that you can't do it.
Oh,
And it's
I've
like
been
this is
yeah.
weird.
I know.
It's
I had a
weird,
friend
right?
who was living in Maine, like when we were in college, and so I went to go visit her, and she was like, "You can't go near there." Like we're laying out, getting our color, and I was like,
Hmm.
"That's crazy." But you saw all the French Canadians swimming for days because to them it was warmer
Yeah,
than their water from wherever
that's
they came
true.
from.
I'm sure the Norwegians are. Like when we went to Denmark, Jawad and Zena got into the North Sea and sort of dipped in to have to say like they had. And I'm like, I don't need that on my bucket list. I'm
No,
staying on the beach where it's warm.
I will say that when we were on the water and when we were in the ports and the weather ended up being warmer than it was planning out to be. It wasn't hot, but we weren't cold by any means. We had the perfect right amount of clothes and the temperature and all that stuff.
Oh,
But the
that's
water
good.
looks so beautiful. You want to jump in it, but you're
You
like,
want to
I
go
know I
in.
would die of hypothermia just
Mm-hmm.
getting near it, right? But it looked so
Yeah.
beautiful,
No, you
and the
can't.
colors, the dark blues, it was just breathtaking. So if you can get your butt to Norway, get to Norway, and
Do it.
it
Yeah.
was really amazing. We had such pleasant surprises along the way, and just these different towns, and I went not expecting anything, so I got a lot more. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. And what a wonderful experience for all of you, like you're not, and they're old enough because Zena always complains, like, things that happen when the kids are really young that they don't get to remember. And I'm like, well,
mhm.
you must have an emotional memory of being happy as a kid at least, right? But
Right.
you're right. You're not remembering walking around New York or going on a Norwegian cruise or something. But to do it at this age where they're old enough, they're still at home and they have to go on these things like you said.
Right.
You have to come up and hike up this mountain to see the glacier, whatever it is. But they're old enough to remember everything, and
Yeah,
that's like the most amazing thing.
and they were old. I mean, they really matured this summer too. They weren't complaining about climbing the mountain and like walking around. I mean, they were exhausted, but I didn't get the verbal like, "Why are we having to do this?" Like
Mm-hmm.
they sucked it up and did it. And I also think the age, maturity, but also this is something new. It wasn't walking
Right.
around Valencia for 5 hours. It was something all new to them.
Something different.
Yeah, so I
What an
was
experience. Yeah, I want to go on a cruise at some point, but I don't know when that's going to happen. We shall see.
And you
Where
know
else
what?
did you go?
I will it well it was just Norway. So we went to it started and ended in Southampton, UK. So that's why we ended up in
Oh, right.
London this
Okay, got
summer.
it.
So we had the North Sea crossing day and then each day we had like four different ports, four, five? Well, I don't know, four or five ports that we went into. And they were like tiny little towns and we were pleasantly surprised. I'm going to do a little plug. We were in Alesund and we just stumbled upon this Art Nouveau museum, and Art Nouveau is my favorite kind of art. Okay, like that's my
Okay.
favorite art movement. And it being Norwegian, so what happened, I guess, in like 1900, the whole town burnt to the ground, and they rebuilt the whole town in the austere Art Nouveau style, like the Norwegian
Mm-hmm.
style, so obviously less ornamentation. But they had this museum that was set up in an old apothecary's house, and that was the museum, and the next door was an old bank building, and that's what they used as an exhibit space. And as being an art student yourself, they had a retrospective of a woman named Tyra Clean, who was an artist during the Art Nouveau time. And I don't know if you've ever heard of her. Have you ever heard of her?
This doesn't ring a bell, but I'm horrible with names, including everything.
Well, I'm not expecting you to because she died in 1950 and then left all of her art to like the Swedish Crown or something with the thing that they couldn't show it for 50 years after her death. So her art's only been viewable for like 20 years. And we were blown away by this exhibit and her art and her feminism and what she did and what she accomplished. So I'm telling our listeners, if you go on
Like
Wikipedia
amazing.
and look her up, because it was an
And she
eye
was
opening.
Swedish, not Norwegian.
Not Norwegian,
Yeah.
but she was Swedish, and I
Okay.
guess,
Just wanted to double check.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
wanted to make sure. Yeah. Now that sounds amazing. So she's so say the name again. She's worth looking up.
Tyra Clean, and it's
Tyra.
Kleen.
Nice. We'll have to
and
look her
and
up.
her
Yeah.
stuff appealed. One, my daughter, the artist, who was like amazed at her work and the complete
Mm-hmm.
oeuvre as she did, and my other daughter, who's into goth stuff, because she had some very dark paintings and sketches of like skeletons and eerie
Oh,
things
right up your
to.
guy's alley.
Yeah, it was a win for the whole family.
Well, speaking of art, we're going to the Escher Museum in London on Friday, tomorrow.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm excited about that because I'm hoping they have some funky things, like some funky visual things
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
going on, like interactive-y type things
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
You mean a
So
never-ending
I'll
staircase,
report
something
back.
like that?
Maybe, yeah. I love that kind of art because we were talking about I went to the museum in Valencia that was on my list of things to do, the one that you had been talking about, the Herrera one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
they have a really some really interesting art there. And one of them was a Danish artist that did this tunnel, and it was this colors. And I think I posted that on our our Spain social media too because it was
Mm-hmm.
a
Yes, you
really
did.
interesting and I love interactive art, like I
Mm-hmm.
really do. When you go and you see a piece and it looks different from different angles or something, I just love that kind of thing.
w-
So we'll
we have an
see.
appointment next week to go back to that museum to see the Kiefer exhibit
Yep.
that's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
so we have our
Yeah.
appointment for next week for that.
Yeah, but yeah, to see the whole thing because there's some fun interactive uh art items up
Hmm.
there of all sorts. So I really enjoyed that. So did you go anywhere in Spain yet?
We went to Javia this week for a
Oh,
night,
okay.
which I had.
Javier's nice.
Yeah, I
Yep.
had never been there before. I have a friend that lives down there, and he invited us down to spend the night and see the town. And he has a pool that overlooks the sea. He has the view that
Oh,
I always
bummer.
wanted. So I'm very very happy for him. And
Yeah, very happy for him.
no,
We gave
John,
up the
thank
pool
you
and the
so much
view
for
to live in
inviting us. If
town.
you're listening, you were a wonderful host, and your view is amazing. But the town, I didn't know what to expect, and it felt like Ibiza on the mainland to me. It was just the way the hill, the way the houses cascade down the hills and the viewpoints from everything was just really
Yeah.
nice. And we took for the first time, we took an Alsa bus. Have you taken one of those yet?
What's an Alsa bus?
That is like the Greyhound of Spain that's owned by the government.
Okay.
And we may have talked about this before. I know I've talked about it in life that there, and I've
So
never taken it.
this is like town to town versus inside town. Yeah, I think we've
Yeah,
talked about
it's like
that.
a
Yeah.
yeah, and cross country too. And like you can
Mhm.
take it nonstop from or practically nonstop from Valencia to the Barcelona airport. So if people are trying to think of how they can get to the airport, it's literally to the terminal. And it's
Oh,
and
nice.
that
Yeah.
bus is a double decker luxury bus that has like a steward, a cabin
Yeah.
steward, like getting you snacks and stuff like you're on a plane. And the one we took it's like 2 hours. It was totally fine, very inexpensive. And so I recommend, I mean, I did something I hadn't done.
Javier is nice, and I will. One of the benefits for English people who might be living further north in Spain
Hmm.
is that if you go down to Javier, like all the grocery stores have English stuff. They have like an Iceland there, so you can go down there and get all your English things if you can't find them up in Valencia is almost a cutoff point for international food, I feel
Hmm.
like. And you get further south, and there's because it's more touristy and more people living there for summer homes and stuff. There's just more of that down there. And Javier is quite English, I think.
Well, it's funny you say that because I knew there was a huge expat community down there, and it wasn't until he was driving us back to the bus that I saw the Iceland store, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, shoot, we should have like left an hour before, and we could have loaded up a bag
Yep,
full of English muffins and other things
for
that we
sure.
couldn't get. I didn't even think about that. So the next time we go down.
Next time, exactly. I mean, you're not going to go down there to get your English food, but if you happen to be there, like
Right.
stock up and bring it back, right?
Exactly. I mean,
we're
especially.
we're on the we're on the hunt for like so when we get back, my brother's going to come visit with his kids for a few days, and so we're on the hunt for like water parks and things, and so very Spain. We have a friend that found this water park that was only 45 minutes from us, and so we couldn't go with her because we were leaving the next day to come here. So she was like, well, I'll just go, and if it's any good, we'll go again when you get back. I'm like, great, perfect. She texts me and she's like, it's closed. So
No.
she drove all the way up there and it was closed. And I'm
Oh
like, that is
no.
so Spain. Like, Google's not going to tell you that, right?
Right, right.
And it was closed for some kind of construction, and then she had to go down. They still had a really nice day because she was still near the coast, so she had to go down to like the tourist office in the nearest town and be like, okay, what else do we have here? Like, what
Hmm.
can we do within this area? But that's a bummer. So we have to find some fun things to do. So hopefully the next time we do our summer closing episode, we will have some fun stories of things
Some
that maybe we've done in Spain.
right, right.
Yeah.
Well, I have one last thing I could mention for this episode, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
I did do something. We've done episodes about this before, but I had never really partaken of rebajas. So,
Oh, the July ones.
yes, in the preparation for our cruise, we had to buy a lot of clothes, like sweaters and long skirts for the cruise because
That it turned out you didn't need.
no, we did need them for the evenings because you still have on a Cunard cruise you have to dress up for
Oh,
dinner.
okay.
So you couldn't wear shorts and
Mm.
jeans to dinner. So we had to buy like and that was fun for the girls because it was a special event every night of having to look nice and meet for
Right.
cocktails and they could have a Coke and up in the you know, they just felt really grown up
Yeah.
versus like this family kind of trip kind of thing, you know? But anyway, so
Right.
we
Right.
went and we were looking for clothes and we've talked about how horrible fashion is these days and how we don't like the clothing and my kids don't like the clothing and we were out shopping and we had to buy a lot of stuff because my girls also wear uniforms so they
Do
out
not get me
yeah.
started. Do not get me started on
Oh,
the
I'm gonna get you
clothing. I want
started.
to do a PSA. Jesus. I can't. Yeah. Go
They
for it. You start.
yeah, so
I'll carry
anyway we were
on.
like looking, couldn't find anything and they're like these are all hideous and you know I'm getting angry not with them but at the stores because I want to get done with this because it's also hot and we have no clothes yet and we have to go on this trip and we have to do all the shopping because they wear uniforms and so they don't fit into anything they used to fit into because they haven't worn them all year, right? Like so all these clothes that we had just don't fit, so it was a lot of reasons why we had to do this. And then Paloma, I'm gonna give a shout out to Zara. Paloma's like, let's go to Zara. I'm like, Zara's gonna be too much, whatever. We went in there, and the rebajas they had going on,
Mm-hmm.
I was insane. We got cocktail dresses for €11 that were marked down from like 100. Like we got
But even I'm a huge fan of Zara. Their clothes are not as expensive as you think
right.
they might be. And sometimes they do have some, but also, yeah, they're just it's more reasonable than you think.
It
And
is,
it's
but we
if you
had to
get it
buy like
in a
20
sale.
items. So
Yeah,
you don't want to buy 20
yeah.
things from Zara, right? 20 times
No,
30 still adds up way more than my
it's
budget
still
was,
it still
you
adds
know?
up.
So when
Yeah.
we bought all, I mean, handfuls and handfuls of, you know, armfuls of clothes and I put them in the thing, I'm doing it, and the whole thing came to €112. And I was like,
Oh my God, that's
how
amazing.
did this all and like
How is
I
that
was like, Paloma,
possible?
thank you for mentioning Zara because I was like, we're not going there. And it had everything we needed for the cruise. They have clothes to carry them through. Like, so I had my real Rebejas moment of like necessity and success, you know?
Win. When we went, okay, so part of our last trip to London, since we had Zena and I had some time to ourselves, was she wanted to go shopping, right? And I'm like, I'll buy you one item, and you can buy yourself. I mean, like, there's a limit to what we'll get. It's
Hmm.
just but just going into this, she had certain stores she wanted to go to, and we went to one, and this shop is. So we were down on Carnaby Street, where there's a lot more kind of teen stuff. I think they have
Hmm.
like a mango teen and a bunch of other things like that. And we went, and there was lines around the block to get into this one store, which I don't know what it was, because there's so much marketing now on like social media that these stores become like so trendy that you have to literally wait in line to get into them now.
Hmm.
And we went to this one, and they actually had some nice things, but there was a line for like half an hour to get into the changing room. And then once we were halfway through that, I'm like, I'm going to go stand in line to pay because I'm not waiting for another. Like, you finish this line and I'll be in that line, right?
Right.
And then it was like so crazy. So we just were waiting in lines for so long just to buy things, which I would never do. I would have been out of there in a second, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, we have time. This is what Xena wants to do. This is her thing. We'll do it. And then she comes out with these things that she wants. And my constant battle, I don't think I'm that prudish, but my constant battle with these girls' clothes, and I've had it since Xena turned from like a toddler clothes into young, the lower size of like the tween clothes
Mm-hmm.
when she was like 7 or 8. There's no fabric on these clothes,
Right.
like zero. And all the people that were in line to pay were parents waiting for their children to finish in the other line. So all the parents around me were like, "Oh my God, yeah, we would like yes butt cheek, like less butt cheek," and I'm like, "I want no butt cheek. Like this is what I'm going for,"
Well, I mean,
and it doesn't exist. It doesn't
well,
exist.
I'm going to agree and disagree because I feel that yes, what you're saying is 100% true, but it does exist, except that it's the exact extreme opposite of then it's like these ugly jorts where everyone looks like they're a car mechanic. Like it's just ugly.
Oh yeah, it's board
Yeah,
shorts. It's board shorts or literally no
or a
fabric, and you
band-aid.
can tell
Yeah,
on the shorts. Or a band-aid. There's no material under the crotch, right?
right.
That goes down. It just goes straight across. And this is what all the places are selling, and it's what everyone's on everywhere that they see. So of course, I don't blame the girls. I don't blame the teenagers because they just want to be wearing what these companies are promoting and saying it's cool. And of course, I was the same when I was a
Right.
teenager. I wanted to look cool and wear the clothes that I wanted to wear. So it's just really hard to find because you're right. It's either that or board
Oh
shorts.
yeah.
And
It's
I'm
boy clothing.
like, what are you
And
gonna?
I remember when I
Yeah.
was, I mean, when I don't know how it was in your society, in your neck of the woods, but when my girls were really young, a lot of there was this, I'm gonna just call it femininity movement with mothers and young toddlers. And they're like, don't sexualize my kids and don't teach them about beauty and don't. There was this whole anti-woman thing for girls that it was in
Oh.
our community that I really resented because I was like,
Mm.
if my little girl wants to wear makeup around the house, she can wear makeup. Like she's allowed to want to be a woman.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for
And there
sure.
was this
But
kind of
you want to be a woman,
yeah,
right? Yeah, be a girl,
and there
be a
was
young
this
girl.
backlash against like girl dolls and Barbie dolls and also girls' clothing. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, but now you're just turning them into boys because there isn't like a an outfit that's still girly like or feminine like that has a longer short and maybe a longer shirt or a baggier cut. It's just a boy's
Mm-hmm.
shirt. It's just boys clothing. It's not
No.
it's not like cut different. And I'm like, can't we just have a cute little preppy shirt and a preppy short that's maybe a little above mid thigh
Right.
that's still tasteful?
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Definitely they should be dressing like girls. The clothes should be cut nicely for a girl. Like you should be able to be a girl without looking like a hooker. That's all I'm
I
saying.
am not in disagreement with you.
Now that said, I was like when I was growing up, I went total goth and I was like I just want to wear black. So I was like the opposite as a teenager. My poor mom, who was like very Laura Ashley and wanted every
Right.
pearls in Laura Ashley, and she got the child that was like goth and black and Doc
Doc
Martens. But
Martens and
so
black
every
fingernails and black lipstick. Yeah,
totally,
yeah.
absolutely. So I mean, we all have our crosses to bear with our mother daughter experiences, but I just feel like I don't think it's the girls' fault. I understand why they want to dress in the clothes that are being put out there. So I think it's the I don't think it's I just think they should put more material, not a little bit, just a
Right.
little bit. It does not a
And
lot.
the thing
Just
is,
make it decent.
I'm with you, but so are my girls, right? So this isn't me being a
Mm-hmm.
dad thinking girls should be dressing a certain way. My girls literally do not like the clothes that are being offered. And it was like Zara provided that thing because it was like the women they bought women's clothes which aren't hooker clothes, right? It
Yeah.
was like these preteen stuff.
Yes, and that was the thing with Zara. I mean, online, like in the store, I had a bit of a hard time finding shorts that were decent, but they had a lot more stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff online, I could go in and actually found quite a bit of clothes there, and they actually do more decent
Mm-hmm.
stuff too. And there are companies that do a better job for sure. So it's just, but it's become very very hard, especially with the promotion of it. It gets harder,
Right.
like to have that contentious sort of conversations and shopping
Right.
experiences. So, but anyway, all the parents that were in line around me were just like laughing at me, like, yeah, been there, we're all here, right?
Yes.
Like doing the same thing. So it's like I know I'm not alone. And they had really cute stuff in this store. And if they had just put a bit more material on it, I would have been like, yeah, this is great. It just needed one more inch of
Right,
clothing.
right.
That's all it
Like
needed.
it's either they're
And
way
then it would
too
have been
baggy or
adorable.
way too small. And I kind of had like a Karen moment at one of the stores on the shopping day before we hit the Zara,
Oh, good. I wish I'd been there for
and it was
that.
like the fifth store that we went to on the cologne, and I was like, I can't take it. And Paloma was getting really angry and frustrated because
Oh,
she was like,
yeah.
I just want to be done with this and have what I want, because she likes to shop, but she doesn't want to shop for shopping's sake. She wants to have a
We all have our
yeah, she
limits,
wants to
right?
have
Yeah.
progress through the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
and and there was a moment we were in a
Who
shop
wants
and she
that?
was like, I don't like it. And I'm like, you sure? And I'm like, because I was like, now just like it so we could just get something, right? And I was like, and then I
Right,
was out
right.
loud saying, I'm with you. All these clothes are crap. Everything looks like it's for a hooker. And I'm like saying this out loud and people are looking at me.
So we basically had the same experience in different
Yes.
cities.
Because all the clothes are made in one factory on the other side of the world to be sold for the rest of the world. So there is that.
But by designers. Designers are designing
Yeah.
them, so there has to be some responsibility laid in these companies that are building these, that are designing and producing these things. But we did end up. She did end up with some nice T-shirts, and we went to a few different places, and it was really fun. We didn't have to shop like you did, so it wasn't quite so stressful
Hmm.
in that regard. But the lines in these trendy shops now are like
Yeah.
insane,
Well, especially in London,
insane.
right? 'Cause in Valencia, you don't have that
Yeah,
shopping culture, trending culture, right? Which is not that city, right? But
right.
and
Yeah,
London is a TikTok culture, right? I mean,
yeah.
I,
And it's people from everywhere coming to, especially Carnaby
right.
Street and Oxford Street. It is where everybody is going to shop when they come to London to all these places. We had a good time, and I think we survived, and Zena and I didn't kill each other. So I think that we'll consider that a
I think
win.
it's a huge win. It's a huge win. We actually have to go back to the end of the rebajas because my Omara is in her A levels, which means no more uniform. So we still have to
No
buy another like
way.
at least 10 pieces of clothing. So
So she gets 2 years of no
yeah.
uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Oh, that's amazing. Zena's like just waiting and like literally counting the days and the minutes to when she doesn't have to wear a
Mm-hmm.
uniform, I think. But I have to go get more. When does the Rebajas ends? Like literally the 31st of
But
July?
they tend to go on into August and stuff. It's a little different. It's a lot
Okay.
longer, but I think like I mean, I don't know what the deals are going to be like. And the girls are like, we have to go, but it's been so hot and we've been traveling so much that like when we got back from London and
Right.
Norway, it was like 5 days of like we're not moving. Like we literally slept for 3 days because we had been walking so
Oh
much.
my gosh.
And then we just went to visit my
Right.
friend, and now today we're like, oh, and then the heat, and then they're like, well, we have to go shopping. And Omar was like, I have to go buy a friend for a gift like last night, and she never left the house today.
Right.
And I'm like, it's not gonna get any cooler tomorrow, so you better get this in.
No, and you have no excuses. You have to come visit us when we get back
Yes.
before school starts. So one way or another.
Then go to the pool.
Yes. Yeah, we do have it. So they what was nice in our town, I don't know if I mentioned this, they were giving like the pool because we had these really, really hot days. The pool, which is super expensive, it's like two
I know, but
euros to go
I'm
in.
gonna get a job. I'm gonna take out a second mortgage.
They were giving it no, they were giving it for free. They were like, it's free if people want to come because of the hot
Uh-huh.
weather, which I thought that was a really nice thing for the town to
That is
do.
very nice,
It's
yeah.
just like just come and be in the pool. Yeah. So I like those little things. It's kind of fun.
Well, I want to go to the pool
Yeah.
because the beach will not be refreshing as much as I want to go to the beach. I don't know where is the closest cool water beach because it's the shelf is so shallow. That's what you need a beach that goes deep quickly to get the cool
Yeah,
water.
that's not anywhere around here, I don't think. But like you said, the pool also probably want to come in the morning. I think by the afternoon that also gets warm.
Right.
So we'll sort it
We'll
out.
sort
We'll
it
sort it
out.
out for sure.
We'll sort it out.
I think that pretty much covers our what we've done so far. We'll we'll see what happens for the rest of the summer
Yes, exactly.
and see if we have any more shenanigans and stories.
We'll have a part two in a month or in 6 weeks from now, and we can talk about what the rest of our
Yeah.
summer was. My kids did say when we got home last night, please say we're done traveling for a while. I said we're done for the summer. We're good.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing about traveling. You enjoy the traveling and then you enjoy being home, right?
We do, and
Or
I will
both.
say that it's been a long time since we've been gone for like 12 days, right? And that's a
Mm.
long time to be away from home, especially we were on a boat and then at a friend's. Like, there was a lot of chaos
Yeah.
and stuff going on and just a lot of activity. And I'm very proud of how well they held up. And none of us were really actually homesick until the day we were like leaving. And they were like, and then we were like, do we even have to travel home? Can we just click our heels and be there? Because we didn't want to deal with the
Right.
airport. We didn't want to do. And then, I will tell you the next episode about the broken suitcase scenario. So that'll be for another time.
Yes. Woohoo. Exciting. That's quite a cliffhanger.
It is a cliffhanger. It's a funny story.
Well, until next time,
Until next time, Tanya.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Our Spain.
We really appreciate all the support we have received since we started this podcast.
Visit ourspain.com for transcripts to this and our other episodes, some exciting merchandise, and if you are so inclined, there is also a link to buy us a coffee, which helps support this fun endeavor.
And please follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Our Spain Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to us wherever you're listening.
It really helps us stay connected, and we'd love to hear from you.
Let us know if there's any topics you would like for us to talk about. Even though we are happy to talk about anything, we also want to make sure it's informative for you.
Exactly.